This video shows you why Russell Westbrook may finally win his first ring. Brodie's 13-year career has seen him become the all-time triple-doubles leader, a 9-time NBA All-Star, 2-time scoring champ, and league MVP. Despite that, a ton of fans, as well as the mainstream media, harshly define Westbrook's greatness by strictly two facts: 0 rings and no three-point shot. Stay tuned to see why it's Westbrook's last and best chance to win a ring, and whether or not he'll capitalize off playing next to LeBron and AD. Before going any further, over 3/4 of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed, so if you fall into that percentage, please subscribe. Also, leave a like on this video, it takes a few seconds and makes a massive difference. Even a month after the Wizards-Lakers blockbuster, it's still surreal that the most athletic point guard of this generation is paired up with the freight train LeBron James and a top big man in Anthony Davis. By far, this is the best situation Russell Westbrook's been blessed with throughout his 13-year career, but with great power comes great responsibility.
I don't believe this season that Russell Westbrook will have ever faced more pressure, but considering where he's been, what he's been through, and what life has been like without the services of Kevin Durant as his teammate. Now to be in this position right here with LeBron James and Anthony Davis as your teammate, Russell Westbrook is going to be under immense pressure.
13 years after playing for the UCLA Bruins, a college tenure which saw him play 75 games and take home the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year in 2008, the hometown kid from Long Beach, California, is back repping his hometown.
That being from LA, growing up not too far from here, being able to watch the parades, try to go to them, miss school to try to go to them, being a Laker fan and being from LA, but now everything coming full circle for me is it's a blessing.
I'm extremely happy for Westbrook and eager for this man to finally get over the hump and win a championship. It seems like Westbrook's humbled by the opportunity to play next to 2 future Hall of Famers, but if he's going to help LeBron win his 5th ring, as accomplished as Westbrook's been in the NBA, there's a few things he's got to prove to both himself and the basketball world next year. First and foremost, he has to be more efficient from 3-point range. In his last 3 trips to the playoffs, Westbrook's taken 85 shots from beyond the 3-point line. He's only made 24 of those shots in the biggest moments, chalking up to 28.2%. Taking less of them and focusing more on his driving and dishing seems like the best route to take for Russ, because that type of efficiency won't fly in LA's 2022 playoff run. When Westbrook had the leadership and superstar production of Kevin Durant next to him in Oklahoma City, that's when he at one point shot 42% over a 6-game playoff series loss to Kobe and the LA Lakers. At that time, Russ was only a sophomore and hadn't made an all-star team yet, so how did he knock down such a high percentage when shooting is all about having strong mental fortitude? Oddly, Russ becoming an MVP and 2-time scoring champ may have been the worst thing that ever happened to him, because as he became more accomplished, his ego kept escalating and his 3-point percentage kept de-escalating. But when Russ was the second option to OKC's clear #1 guy in his early Thunder days, that's when his deep-range shot was at its best in the playoffs. After Russ won MVP, things got awkward towards the end of his OKC days and into his Houston tenure. There was always tension about who was the #1 option between Russ and PG, and then Russ and Harden. It turned out all 3 weren't good enough to be the go-to guy on a championship team. Point is, after winning MVP, Westbrook wasn't going to defer to anyone. You can be sure that'll change next to the league's best duo at full strength in LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
And AD and Bron are friends of mine first, and me being their teammate, my job is to come in and uplift them, and they'll do the same with me, vice versa. And as the season prolongs, we will figure it out. There will be ups, there will be downs, and that's normal. That's okay. But we will figure out how to play the best way that we want to play to be able to win a championship.
There's one major key for the Lakers winning the franchise's 18th title, and that's Westbrook and LeBron's continuity on and off the court. Given they've got 2 big personalities and both have been on the top of the NBA universe in one form or another at one point, You really hope the egos of these two can coexist throughout a 100-plus game grind, if you include the playoffs. Westbrook struggled deferring to Harden and Houston, but that was a complicated situation where the Rockets had limited talent around their backcourt. When KD was in OKC, they came up several wins short of a title every year, and looking back on it, those OKC teams towards the end of Westbrook's tenure with the Thunder weren't the most well-built. However, Westbrook's playing style perfectly suits the Lakers system. LeBron's 8th all-time in total assists. He should pass Oscar Robertson this upcoming season just by finding Russ in transition and cuts to the basket. James has a pass-first mentality. Westbrook's wrongfully considered by fans as a ball-hogging stat chaser, but those idiots forget that Westbrook's down at number 12 all-time in assists, and he led the league by a wide margin last year in assists per game. That's going to help out Anthony Davis, who should form a lethal pick-and-roll tandem with his new Hall of Fame PG. The biggest reason why Brodie's the perfect fit with the Lakers is the pairing with LeBron. Not only is James the best leader that Westbrook's ever played with by far, but LeBron's pass-first mentality is the ideal mesh with the bucket-getting mentality of Russ. Again, his ego will have to take a backseat to King James, but if the Brow can do it, Westbrook can do it. LeBron's got his own unique way of taking his teammates under his wing, and when it's embraced by his teammates, it usually leads to a championship, but in other cases, it can really get under their skin, like it did with Kyrie Irving. But the Lakers will be out for vengeance in 2021, as the bubble champs kind of embarrassed themselves against Phoenix in the first round. Booker was looking to shake hands with LeBron, but he had walked off the court early, and also LBJ didn't get back on defense in the final minutes, which there's no excuse for. He was playing on bad ankles, but to leave his teammates hanging like he did wasn't cool. But that frustration built up from LeBron is where Russ could really help out. Think about it, no one other than LeBron for the first 3 years of his Laker tenure has been able to create shots at an elite level in the pick and roll. While AD can post up and roll to the rim, Bron's been forced to create every shot for his teammates and himself out on the perimeter. Clearly, that screwed with the health and patience of James, which resulted in his first playoff series loss ever. Westbrook entering the fold makes all those problems go away. That's why I was surprised when other NBA YouTubers, along with the mainstream media, were very skeptical of the Westbrook deal. I get everyone's focused on his shooting and inefficiencies of the past, but they aren't taking into account how much pressure the man's going to take off LeBron. So, will Russ capitalize off this opportunity? He's been working out with LeBron for a few weeks now, so the two former MVPs will come into training camp on the same page. It's great that James and Westbrook are getting close on and off the court before LA's journey to a title officially begins, because, again, it'll take a lot for these two alpha males who both believe they're the best player in the world to coexist. This comes down to Russ either playing the most efficient basketball of his career on a typically high volume, which could happen with the home cooking he's going to receive, but more realistically, accepting the role of second fiddle next to LeBron is what Russ is going to have to do. But if he does one of those two things, LeBron equals Kobe for 5 rings, AD gets his second, and Russ beats CP3 and Harden to win his first ring. More videos to come on this Lakers team throughout the season. Should be fun to make for you guys. What will it take for Russ to win a ring in LA? I want to know your take. Let me know in the comments. Anyways, hope you have a great day. D-Flow signing off.